Hey guys, I'm Sam Crack, and I was hacked. And you probably heard about some of these cybersecurity attacks that have happened recently in the automotive YouTube community, where some Instagram accounts were hijacked and a few YouTube channels were permanently deleted. While there were only a handful of these cases actually reported, there were several more attempts and a few successes, including the hijacking of my Twitter account, which I've yet to personally recover. The hacker not only left the same calling card he did on the other accounts he compromised, he also put all of my personal information right on the front page. Several hours later, Twitter luckily recognized this as an account hijacking. They did revert the account back, but they left the hijacker's last tweet, something that I definitely didn't write on there. And I haven't been able to take this off because, like I said, I still do not have access to my own Twitter account because the hacker changed all the recovery information in it, so I can't prove that it's my own. Around the same time my Twitter account was compromised, the hacker tried to gain access to my Google accounts, my phone lighting up, letting me know someone was logging in with my password from another location, but they were blocked due to two-factor authentication. Now, this didn't just happen to me, this happened to a bunch of other guys I talked to, but the craziest thing to happen was probably the hijacked AdSense account of another automotive YouTuber who lost a payment that amounted to thousands of dollars. All of this has fundamentally changed the way I use the internet. For full-time online security, I've been using NordVPN, who is also today's video sponsor. When you access the internet, your online identity remains exposed, allowing others to log and sell your data. When you access the internet with NordVPN, you're doing so through an encrypted remote server, completely masking your online identity. You especially want this protection on public Wi-Fi since you're sharing a network with complete strangers, and without a VPN, you're more vulnerable to an attack. NordVPN brings you more than just security benefits by unblocking YouTube and social media sites that are restricted in certain countries like China. Just reroute your traffic to the United States and you'll be back to unrestricted access of your favorite content. Right now I'm on a site that I use all the time to buy Salvage Auction reports. This listing is for the 2018 McLaren we'll be checking out today. If I want to buy a report for it, it's $5.99. Now check this out. I'm going to use the NordVPN app to connect to a VPN in the Ukraine. I'm going back to the same exact page and the price dropped to $1.99. It's a common practice for businesses to adjust their price based on the geographic location of the buyer. So basically, a NordVPN subscription can pay for itself. As you've seen, it connects in just one click. It's extremely simple to use, and it's compatible with pretty much any device that accesses the internet. Right now, NordVPN is offering their services at a significant discount when you visit nordvpn.com/samcrack. Plus, they're giving my viewers an additional month totally free. And I can't recommend the use of a VPN enough to secure your online life. You can simply click my link in the description box below. That's nordvpn.com/samcrack. And I'd like to give a huge thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Now, let's head on over to the salvage auction. We are starting things off with something very interesting. This is one of those cars that is so fire destroyed, you wonder what it is just by looking at it. Now, I did one circle and there was only one dead giveaway for me what this was, but go ahead, let me know what you think down below. What do you think this car once was? And if we get a little bit closer, the only giveaway for me is right here. The wheel, what's left of the wheel, and down in there, you have a Tesla badge. But I'm still unsure of even what type of Tesla this was. I'm guessing that big front door frame, maybe a Model X. Wow, it's just insane to see anything like this anywhere. Somewhere out here is that blue McLaren. Usually you see that stuff right here in the coming attractions section, but I've taken a gander. I don't see anything that looks like a blue McLaren. What I do see next to this Maserati is a Porsche Cayenne, looks like a Gen 2 car, and it's got a really unique paint color you don't see frequently, and this is usually the front bumper you get with a GTS or a turbo, and 80,000 miles. You can see I've already opened the door. When I opened the door to this car, I was treated to a huge surprise. This is not just a turbo, it's a Turbo S, and the spec, the original spec on this had to have been super custom. We've got these two-tone leather seats. The gauges, look at those gauges. A silver gauge cluster, something that you just don't see a lot on these cars. Really a beautiful Gen 2 Turbo S. You know that I have the Gen 1 car. It's not very good. This looks substantially nicer. Mind you, the car that I'm talking about, my personal car, well, it wasn't cared for very well. Now, a couple other things that are super notable about this car. These wheels, I don't know if these are factory wheels, but what I do see is a yellow brake caliper. Typically, when Porsche puts yellow brake calipers on a car, they're a upgraded carbon ceramic brake. And looking at the discs, that's sure as heck what they look like. These are usually 5-figure factory options, sometimes $10,000, $20,000. So just the brakes alone on this salvage title Cayenne are worth a fortune. Now, if you look at the front end, it's going to be tough to see what the frame looks like under here. Had a pretty nice crunch, but what I do like is that a lot of it happened higher up. Push this hood that way. Usually higher up means a lot of plastics, a lot of brackets. Sometimes you bind the fenders. You can see the fender doesn't line up here very much anymore. Sometimes you can repair these things like the fenders, but of course we got a lot of replacement parts necessary on the front end. The fact that it's a Porsche Cayenne means there's a lot of these parts available for sale on the secondhand market, but it does mean that they're also fairly expensive, especially when you're looking for a turbo front bumper like this. And while you see a lot of Porsche Cayennes of this generation on the road, this is a very, very special one. The rear end is basically perfect. Look at the exhaust tips, this rear brush valance, Turbo S badging. Again, the color is something else. Really beautiful in person. We've got this nice Turbo S wing. Right off the bat, this is a huge find because these cars don't really trade hands for a lot of money on the secondhand market. And usually like a Porsche Cayenne, even a Turbo is bundled in with the rest of them that are clearly not as special as this one behind us. So it'll be really interesting to see what this one sells for. You know, people hear the word salvage and they're at the salvage auctions. They think it's a bunch of junk, a bunch of just normal cars. That Porsche is proof that there is some really, really cool stuff out here. And I love when you're at the salvage auction, you see a car like this Jaguar F-Type, and from this corner, it looks perfect. And then look, you see a bunch of stuff just loaded in the interior, right? That usually makes for a really good story. I'm assuming we're gonna find some sort of damage on this car. And oh yeah, right here, look at the quarter panel. Okay, so this quarter panel has been cut out and we have a bunch of parts again in the interior, which tells me this car was brought into a body shop by the insurance company. They started the repair process. They cut away this quarter panel to see what they were getting into. In the meantime, they went ahead, ordered pretty much all the necessary parts to repair this car. And then they gave a supplement to the insurance company, which basically says, look, we underestimated how much it's going to cost to fix what we're dealing with here. We've got this quarter damage that doesn't look like it extends to the rear too much. Maybe just back here a little bit, but the rear looks all straight, just missing the rear bumper. And so the insurance company looked at the supplement and said, whoa, 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 we did not anticipate that we were going to pay this much to repair this car that isn't worth as much as we would want it to be if we did repair it. So we'll go ahead and we'll total it. But guess what? The insurance company pays for all these parts in here, which means that you're buying a car that comes with most of the parts necessary to rebuild it. So these cars can be huge steals. We're still on the hunt for that McLaren. I'm hoping to run into a few interesting things along the way. And what is going on with this minivan? Oh my gosh. So from a distance, I couldn't tell if there was some sort of fire damage or something. No, someone tattooed this Honda Odyssey van, which was totaled probably because of that. And they did it all with Sharpie pen. At least that's what it looks like. Someone spent a ton of time making this car their own. Unfortunately, I do not believe that the Sharpie pen adds a ton of value to this one. And yet another really, really nicely spec'd Porsche. This is a first gen Cayman S, and you could tell that this is an S for a number of reasons. First off, the dead giveaway, the lower silver painted front lip. Also these red brake calipers. Now this car is tugging at my heartstrings because I had a first gen Cayman S. The same exact wheels came on my Cayman S, and it was extremely rare to find this package offered on any of the used cars. They have a more boring, basic looking wheel. My car was in Guards Red, 6-speed manual transmission. And look at this one. Again, the interior in these Porsches, fairly basic, but that means that they hold up really well. This car with 75,000 miles on it. The only downside, we've got the Tiptronic auto transmission. But What a fun little car. And since this is a Cayman, not a 911, it means we've got a little bit lower resale value. I think this one, again, could go for a really amazing deal. I wonder if he put this sticker on before or after the accident. But this right here, Mark 7 GTI, these are very fun cars to look for at the salvage auctions because they're such a popular selling car. There's quite a few of them out there. Now, this one has a green exterior. I don't think I've ever seen a green GTI. Very cool color combo. The awesome thing about these Mark 7 GTIs, you can turn them into torque monsters with a few minor mods, usually a tune, maybe a downpipe, a few other things. And if you upgrade the turbo on it to the Golf R turbo, you're talking about over 300 wheel horsepower. Oh boy, I can see the top of it from over here. It is an incredible color. Got those really nice machine finish wheels, and here it is. Oh my gosh, and look what's next to it. Do you guys remember this right here? We'll get to that in a minute, but this is a 570S. I believe this is a 2018, so this is a very new model 570S, and in my opinion, this is the McLaren that I would love to not only rebuild but own. Just because these cars, when they come out, they're over $200,000. But being that McLaren hasn't had the best reputation for reliability, they drop in price pretty quickly. That's also translated to the salvage auction prices, and so once in a while you'll see these cars go for an incredible steal. This is zip tied shut, so we can't open it, but on these McLarens, they're made in a way for the frame rail to actually just pop off the structure. So even though it looks halfway decent from here, not quite sure whether that's something we could repair and reuse or whether we need a new piece. This right here looks pretty darn straight, standing from right here. Now looking at the front passenger side wheel, we definitely have a suspension issue over here, a destroyed wheel. You need a new one of those. Anytime you push the face in, generally the wheels are no good. And I'm looking right here, this is the strut to pop the door upward. And I don't see any sorts of cracks or bends in the structure. It's very difficult to get a good look in here, but you could see where that front tub starts, and it looks to be in very good condition. We've got the massive carbon ceramic McLaren brakes there. And this car overall, I mean, what a spec. This color is something I've never seen on a McLaren. The interior has full leather. Some of these come with leather and Alcantara. Unfortunately, we got to get these windows sealed up so that no more dust and dirt gets in here. We've got the keys right there. So this car, I'm sure, with the jump, I know people do not like for me to tell you to jump an exotic car, but with a battery charge, I would guess might fire right up depending on whether there's one of those electronic airbag shutoffs or not. Now next to the McLaren is a BMW i8 that's appeared here on the channel not once, not twice. This might be its third or fourth appearance, I can't recall. But over a year ago, I first saw this car. When I did, there was not nearly as much dust on it. What I could tell you about this car is that it is an insurance car. It is a rejected repair lot, meaning that it was damaged at one time, it was repaired by a professional shop, and the customer did not like the way it came out. So instead of dealing with the customer again, insurance totaled the car out, and it came here to Copart. But since there has been a title work or paperwork issue with it, it still hasn't sold. It hasn't even come up for auction yet. Now to put things in perspective, I've only scoured a quarter of this lot. I've done this a few times, and I know that you will find strange things buried in the weirdest places at salvage auction yards. So I'm gonna go through, hold on. As I'm saying this, I was gonna say I'm gonna run through and find some other interesting things. There is something that is really weird. Look at this. That looks like a Corvette with a custom, this is paint. This is, yeah, this paint. This paint job is actually super nice. There was a ton of time and work that went into this. You're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. But this is a super custom Corvette. Felt a little bit of paint cracking here on the front, which really stinks because again, this is all custom. So in order to get everything to match again, you probably have to take it back to the same guy that did it. We have what looks to be pretty decent tires on it. And we have a quarter panel issue on a Corvette. That is never fun, especially the fact that it's on the side where the fuel filler cap is. Now let's see if we can get inside the car. Ooh, look, the fiberglass skin is even coming off the door frame here. Maybe the other side. We've also got that rear axle issue likely. Those aren't too bad. It's really right there. There's your main problem on this car. Really nice big rear wing. This was somebody's baby. You could just tell by looking at it. The interior is immaculate too. It's got tan interior, smells really nice. Oh look, the interior is painted to match as well. The console here, we do have an auto trans. Just because the amount of time and love put into this car, it should be saved. It could be done. A guy like V-Tune would knock that quarter panel out. And then you've got one of what I would say is the most unique looking Corvettes to ever exist. And now looking over there in the distance, there's like an orangish Tesla. I've never seen an orange Tesla. Gotta be a wrap. Let's get a closer look. Yeah, okay, look, this was wrapped by a company that uses as a company car. You can see the wrap job was one of those kind of just quick, you know, we'll throw it over a white paint job car. And that's why it looks orange, but it is orange. Well, I guess it's red, white, and blue. It was probably much more red before the sun faded it. We have front bumper damage. Looks like the quarter is going to be our issue here, and this rear door. A lot of work involved in these cars. If you didn't see, we did just rebuild a Tesla Model S. It is nearly this bad, but any sort of substantial body damage with a car that has an aluminum structure like this Tesla, well, you can almost automatically always count it off as a total loss. Next to the interesting color scheme Tesla is a very interesting texture schemed Dakota. Look at this, it's completely been covered in texture paint. The entire car, even the fenders, have black texture paint, and it appears that the roof has extra texture paint. Maybe they went in here's what happened. Maybe they went in for a spray and bed liner. Let's take a look at that bed liner. Ah, that's exactly what happened. They went in for a spray and bed liner. The person wrote up the ticket wrong, and they came out with this. Here's another interesting salvage auction bargain. We have an Audi S5. Now this one has the V8 engine, as you can see the badging right here. What you can also see is that it has the 6-speed manual transmission, something that these cars rarely came with. So, in one aspect, you have the less desirable V8 versus the supercharged V6, but you have the 6-speed manual. Because you have the V8, these cars sell for next to nothing. They're still a ton of fun. They still have great looks when they're all put back together. This one doesn't have any substantial frame damage here in the front. As a matter of fact, when you see these brackets as clean as you do, you see some writing like this, blend right here. This is all done probably by a professional body shop. Again, the car was totaled after the fact. We've got a suspension issue in this front corner, but we have a really, really nice frame car, a really, really cool car in the fact that it has that 6-speed manual transmission, and one that will likely not sell for a whole lot of money. It must be Porsche day. Here is a new Cayman, very new Cayman, and it looks like we're going to run into a front end collision car. Oh yeah, this car was pushing very heavily in the front end. In stark contrast to that Audi we just saw, this has a lot of front framework to be done. You got to cut pretty much this whole entire front end out and do an entire new front end, which is very costly, very labor intensive. And then you still got a car with a blemished title. To me, I'd only want to be interested in this as a parts car. Now it is time for you guys to let me know if you could take on one car you saw in today's salvage auction lot tour for a rebuild project, what would it be? Let me know down in the comments section below. For me, well, of course I came here for that blue McLaren. However, if I have to rebuild it, okay, McLarens are known to be really difficult when it comes to service and very expensive when it comes to buying parts, as are Porsches, but obviously a lot more tolerable than McLarens. This is the car that really, really grabbed my attention today. I've never seen a Cayenne ever with carbon ceramic brakes, let alone one that is at least 10 years old, but still looks like a super modern car with that two-tone interior, with that awesome wing on the back, and of course, this beautiful red color. I seriously hope I'm the last bidder on this Porsche Cayenne Turbo S. Now guys, if you're not already following me on Instagram, where I post pictures of trips to the salvage auction, maybe progress on my current rebuild projects like the Ferrari or the E55 AMG, there before anything goes live here on YouTube,
Well, just go right here, click the link in the description box below. If you enjoyed this sort of video, be sure to hit that like button. And I want to thank each and every one of you for watching today. I'll catch you very soon.